Why does Akimbo keep winning against stronger opponents? Is it just genetics, insane strength, or is there something he does every single day that most people never notice? The truth is, Akimbo has a few hidden habits that have helped make him one of the most feared arm wrestlers on the internet. In today's video, I'll reveal 3 hidden habits behind Akimbo's success. And trust me, the third one is something almost nobody talks about, so don't skip a single second. Habit number 1. Akimbo always stays calm under pressure. Have you ever wondered why Akimbo never seems nervous, even when he's standing across from arm wrestlers who are twice his size? While you can clearly see pressure on other athletes' faces, why does Akimbo always look so calm? The answer isn't just his strength, it's his mindset. If you watch Akimbo's matches closely, you'll notice one thing that almost never changes. Before the match even begins, while his opponent is flexing, hyping himself up, or trying to look intimidating, Akimbo stays completely calm. No panic, no unnecessary emotions, just complete focus. And that's exactly what makes him different. Instead of worrying about the crowd or the size of his opponent, all of his attention goes into one thing: his grip, his wrist position, and his setup. Because he understands something that most beginners don't. Arm wrestling isn't won before the match starts. But if you let pressure get into your head before the referee even says go, your body will never perform at its full potential. That's where many beginners make their biggest mistake. The moment they see a stronger-looking opponent, they mentally convince themselves they've already lost. They rush, waste all their energy in the opening seconds, and before they realize it, the match is already over. Akimbo does the exact opposite. He stays patient, controls his emotions, and waits for the perfect moment to use his strength. That's why his movements always look smooth, controlled, and confident instead of rushed or desperate. And maybe that's also why, even after winning, you rarely see him showing off or disrespecting his opponent. More often than not, he shakes hands, shows respect, and thanks the audience. That's not just a habit, that's the mindset of a true champion. But staying calm alone isn't enough to become one of the internet's most viral arm wrestlers. Akimbo has another habit that takes his strength to a completely different level. And surprisingly, it's something most people completely ignore. Habit number 2. He trains smarter, not just harder. So, is Akimbo's success only because of his calm mindset, or is there something different about the way he trains? What exactly does Akimbo focus on that most people completely overlook? To understand that, you first have to let go of one of the biggest myths in fitness. Most people believe that lifting heavier weights automatically makes you stronger. That's why they spend most of their time training their chest, shoulders, and biceps. But if you look closely at Akimbo's training, you'll notice that building bigger muscles isn't his main priority. His goal is to strengthen the parts of his body that actually matter in arm wrestling. That's why he puts so much attention into grip strength, because no matter how big your biceps are, if your grip gives out, your opponent will eventually take control. But grip isn't the only thing. Akimbo also spends countless hours strengthening his wrists and forearms, because those are the areas that absorb the most force during an arm wrestling match. And there's something else that many people never think about. He doesn't just train his muscles. He also works on strengthening his tendons and connective tissues. Those are the structures that help produce long-term strength and durability, allowing athletes to perform consistently over time. On top of that, he includes static holds and isometric exercises to improve endurance. That's one of the reasons he can continue producing force even when a match lasts longer and other competitors begin to fade. But perhaps the smartest part of his training isn't the workouts themselves. It's the fact that he also takes recovery seriously. Because without proper recovery, even the hardest training won't help you improve. That's why Akimbo doesn't just train harder than everyone else. He trains smarter, and that's one of the biggest reasons he keeps getting better with every match. So far, we've seen how Akimbo's mindset and training set him apart. But there's still one more habit that truly separates him from almost everyone else. Habit number 3. He never stops learning. But if Akimbo is already one of the strongest arm wrestlers online, why does he keep training so hard? How does he continue getting better with every match? Does he know something that everyone else doesn't? Or is there another habit behind his success? The answer is simple. Akimbo never stops learning. Many athletes win a few big matches and begin to believe they've already figured everything out. Akimbo doesn't think that way. Whether he wins or loses, every match becomes an opportunity to improve. Instead of only celebrating victories, he looks for ways to become even better. He studies what worked, what didn't, and where he can improve the next time he steps up to the table. He also understands that every opponent is different. Different strengths, different styles, different techniques. That's why he doesn't rely on the exact same strategy every single time. He adapts, he adjusts, and he keeps improving. If you've watched enough of his matches, you've probably noticed that he doesn't always arm wrestle the same way. His grip changes, his setup changes, his timing changes. That isn't luck. It's the result of constantly learning, adapting, and refining his skills. And perhaps that's the most impressive part. Even after becoming one of the internet's most recognizable arm wrestlers, he still trains, still experiments, and still looks for ways to improve. That's why people don't just admire his strength. They admire his consistency, his discipline, and his willingness to keep learning. When you put all three habits together, a calm mindset, smart training, and a commitment to never stop learning, you begin to understand that Akimbo's success isn't built on strength alone. It's built on habits. And if you want to learn the actual arm wrestling techniques Akimbo uses to beat opponents much bigger than himself, click the video on your screen right now. I've broken everything down step by step. I'll see you there.